Welcome to With the First Pick. We're going team by team to build the perfect 7-round mock draft. Who's on the clock today? We're breaking down the Atlanta Falcons' biggest needs, their best fits, sleeper picks that can make their draft. By the time we're done, you'll have a complete blueprint for how they can dominate draft weekend. That's Chris Trapasso. I'm Ryan Wilson. It's time to get on the clock. Let's build the perfect draft. Traps. I don't know how many sleeper picks we're going to have because I only have 5 selections, but they're starting with pick 15 here. And
pass rush, right?
I'm going to say that let's not overthink this thing. It feels like pass rush is their biggest need here. So I'll be the assistant GM for this journey, Traps. I'll let you lead the charge here. They signed Morgan Fox. They signed Leonard Floyd, and those are all great. They got Divine Diablo to play linebacker / safety / tweener. Anything stick out to you here at pick 15?
Well, for me, it's James Pearce. I absolutely love him. And I wonder your take, James Pearce versus Mike Green. Who do you like more? Because that, to me, even after signing Leonard Floyd, that would be the conversation if I was in the Falcons draft room.
Yeah, both those players I love. Both those players could potentially have some off-field concerns to see them drop a little bit. Just in terms of strict football players, I have them pretty closely graded. James Pearce has played against better competition more consistently. They're about the same size. They're both super twitched up. They both outplay their 248 to 251 weight. So I could go either direction here. But if you like James Pearce a little bit better than Mike Green, let's go with James Pearce.
Yeah, let's go with James Pearce, not just because I like him a little more, but like you mentioned, that he's played in the SEC back-to-back seasons with elite-level production.
Yeah, absolutely. So, again, there are going to be some off-field concerns with some of these guys. We'll just consider the on-field productivity, and it's not our job to be weighing in and what they did in third grade, but we can certainly talk about them as football players. And as football players, I think both are top 15 guys. All right, next up, we are at pick 46 in the second round. And some other needs we have here, defensive line, cornerback, go offensive line or safety, primarily on the defensive side of the ball with a team that didn't exactly look like Raheem Morris's defensive football team a year ago, but I think they're getting that way. So, look, if we're thinking about cornerback here, and that'll be a consideration, doesn't have to be the pick, but I love Trey Amos.
That's who I was looking at. Yeah, like those two, I think, you have AJ Terrell there, but if I'm looking at the right depth chart, is it going to be Mike Hughes as the other outside corner? Clark Phillips is there in the slot. I would like to add more size and athleticism to the cornerback position opposite, again, AJ Terrell, and you get that with Trey Amos or Savon Revel. I love both of those two players. I have a first-round grade on both. So at 46 here, I think either of those selections would make a lot of sense to add, like you're saying, to what I think Raheem Morris envisions more of a sturdier, stingier defense, especially on the back end in the secondary.
Yeah, the thing with Trey Amos is he's not injured. Savon Revel's coming off that ACL, which is suffered, I think, in October. So he's probably 85-90% the way back to fully recovered. But the other thing is he played in the SEC. The other thing on top of that is he's a fantastic football player. And Jackson Dart told us at the Combine that he was the best corner he faced last year. Saw him every day in practice, but he also went up against some of those SEC corners. Hey, for fun, striker, let's look at the defensive line just to see who's out there, because that's also a
interior B line. Yeah.
You could argue that secondary is a little bigger line. So Omar Norman Lott's there. James, we should go off Tennessee here if we wanted to. Alfred Collins and Vernon Broughton out of Texas. I love both those guys. Josh Farmer had a great Senior Bowl. Jordan Phillips had a great Shrine Bowl. Deion Walker is a guy that you build in the lab from Kentucky. He just didn't have the production this year. So there's some choices there too, Traps. But we pick, again, at 118. And I would imagine there's going to be a better chance for some of these corners to not be available later than have some of these defensive tackles be available.
Yeah, and then, I was going to say on the flip side of that, the defensive tackle class is deeper than corner. I think corner's still pretty good. I think we would both agree on that. But D tackle, you just listed off 5 or 6 guys right there. And we would have to assume even, in the 4th round that one of those defensive tackles would at least be available to kind of bolster that unit up front. So I think going corner here, I actually have Revel graded a bit higher, but for all the reasons that you mentioned, the fact that Trey Amos is healthy, is coming off a really productive season in zone and man in the SEC, I think he should be the pick here at 46.
All right. Once again, striker, let's not overcomplicate it. It's funny, Traps, we've been through the top 14 picks of this draft, and I think probably 13 of the 14 fans have hated. So we'll see. I don't know how you could hate this draft, but I would imagine they'll have some opinions, and that's okay. We're not just doing this in a vacuum.
And it's felt like the Falcons have needed outside pass rush help for like the last 15 years. Like Leonard Floyd is a great complementary piece. He's up there in age. I think going James Pearce in round 1, then getting 2 guys from the SEC, getting Trey Amos in round 2 is exactly what this team needed. That was really bad on defense down the stretch when they tried to make that playoff push late with Michael Penix.
Yeah, so they had Arnold Ebiketie a few years ago. They drafted out of Penn State. He's coming along, but he hasn't been sort of the game changer that perhaps they were hoping for. They got Braylon Trice last year, who got injured before the season even started, so he'll be back. So they'll have a little depth there, but they haven't had that game changer in quite a while. It is hysterical that the best player available staring us in the face is Will Howard. As conversations about Kirk Cousins continue, the quarterback, of course, is going to be Michael Penix Jr. So we're at pick 118 here.
Probably go D-line, right?
Let's see what's a defensive line, because that's a need. J.J. Pegues, I love.
Me too.
Tonka Hemingway, I love, out of South Carolina. Tim Smith out of Alabama. I like him a lot. I think he'll be around. Cameron Jackson out of Florida. I think I'm higher on him than anyone on planet Earth outside.
He's huge.
The Cameron Jackson family. He is an earth mover inside.
Even Cam Horsley's fun later.
Cam Horsley out of BC.
From Boston College, yeah.
Yep. So,
what about O-line?
Yeah, let's take a look
Interior?
at too, because I think we could look there too as well. Willie Lampkin, I laugh because he's 5'10", 260 and plays guard. He's awesome.
And his film is incredible. He looked like he should have been a first-team All-American last season at North Carolina at that size.
By the way, I think his arms are measured over 32 inches. For 5'10", that's like having 80-inch arms. So he's checking every box. Jonah Monheim, interior. Dylan Fairchild, interior. Offensive lineman out of USC and Georgia, respectively.
Ooh, there's one who sticks out to me. Miles Frazier from LSU.
I was going to say Miles Frazier, who plays in LSU. You know what? This offensive line class, especially in the interior, isn't as deep as the defensive positions. I'm okay with going Miles Frazier here, because I think I'll double check where I have him, but I have him higher than
this
draft board
than 118. Yeah, absolutely. And then from what they have him, his rank is 216. I think the upside is there with him because he's big and he's very explosive of an athlete.
I have him as a late day 2 guy.
Yeah,
I think that's right. 3 too. Yeah, so this is a home run. All right, interior offensive lineman Miles Frazier out of LSU. Now we have 2 picks in round 7, and we'll just go best player available.
He has some high caliber reps on film, like length, athleticism, power. Sometimes his blocks kind of get defenders can slip off his blocks a little bit, but I think in time with development, he can be like an anchoring piece on this Falcons interior of their defensive line that just lost Drew Dahlman in free agency.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. They have Bergeron kicking inside to guard. They're going to have to replace the center, Drew Dahlman. You mentioned they have Chris Lismer, of course, but you can always never have enough depth. Tyler Shuck is still there. I mean, I don't think we need another.
Probably not another corner.
Yeah. Other over-the-hill quarterback, age 27, coming into the league. Emory Jones is QB3 right now with Kirk Cousins still on roster. That's breaking news for me. All right. So Cam Horsley's still there. Ty Robinson's still there. I like both those guys. Eric Gregory, Nazir Stackhouse. Ty Robinson's teammate, Nash Hutmacher, is a guy that I really like in terms of the motor that he plays. I'll let you make this pick. Traps, we can go defensive line or we can go best player available. What are you thinking?
I think Cam Horsley, because he is a big body. He's built like a nose tackle, but moves like a 3 technique, can give you a little upfield juice, and he's pretty good against the run. I just think this is a quality player to get this late in the draft at the beginning of round 7.
All right, let's do it.
And then let's just go BPA with this 242. That seems to make sense and probably what a lot of teams do once they get this late into the draft.
They need help at safety. RJ Mickens is sitting there.
Like him.
I like RJ Mickens as well. We have Woody Marks, the running back out of USC, who I also like. Smile Munden. I think I'm higher on Smile Munden than anyone else outside of Cam Jackson. I think he goes much higher than here. Fentrell Cypress is fun. He ran in the 4.3s, I think, at his pro day. Played opposite Azariah Thomas. Do we just not want to overthink this and go with RJ Mickens?
Yeah, I think RJ Mickens is kind of a standout player here, where I would be surprised if he's available this late in the draft. Good ball skills, quality run defender, played in the ACC, multiple years of production. And you're right, it's certainly a need opposite Jesse Bates in that secondary.
Yeah, they signed Jordan Fuller. They have Jesse Bates, that you mentioned. We talked to RJ at the Shrine Bowl, and the nicest kid you'll ever talk to, very serious about football. His dad, of course, is Ray Mickens. So he has that pedigree in terms of an NFL dad who played defensive back, and he was certainly well respected at Clemson by his teammates and the coaching staff as well. And as you talk about, he can do a lot of things really well. And this feels like a steal at 242. So let's make it happen. All right, let's see what happens here. James Pearce, pick 15. He could go higher than that, strictly on-field productivity. Trey Amos at pick 46 feels like a steal. I'm with Traps. I think he's going to be a top 32 guy. Miles Frazier had a late day 2 grade on him. We get him early on day 3 to help in the interior line at LSU. Cam Horsley, the interior defensive lineman out of BC, with one of the first 7th-round picks. And then we wrap things up with R.J. Mickens, the final 7th-round pick. Only 5 picks for the Falcons. This feels like a pretty good draft. I don't have to ask Traps, but I'm assuming Falcons fans will let us know whether this is a good draft or not and hit all the spots. But that's it. That's it for us here. That's a wrap on the Perfect Falcons Draft Class. Make sure to subscribe to NFL and CBS on YouTube and download with the first pick wherever you get your podcasts. And stay tuned for more Perfect Mock Drafts because we're hitting all 32 teams.